All right, so our next term, welcome back, friends. Having a great time doing geometry, 7 a.m. in the morning. So ray, our next one is ray BD bisects angle ABC. So what bisects means, it means that it's a ray that cuts the angles equally. So I know I have an angle, and I have a ray BD. So let me just, so here's A, B is my vertex, and C here is my angle. And then the ray that's in the middle here, so it's this ray here. It's cutting it equally. And this is D. So what that means, the notation for equal angles, and I know I didn't mark it on the other page, I'm going to go back and do that right now, is just an arc. So I'm going to put an arc here, and I'm going to put an arc there. And so they're just at different locations. So if I'm going to go back and just mark those other angles that were congruent that I wrote, so I would say I could use two arcs. So 1, 2, 1, 2. So I know it has two little arcs. So I know that those two angles are congruent. But those two angles, if they were on the same problem, are not the same measure as these two angles. So now I'm just going to write this out. So I'm going to write this how it looks symbolically. So it's going to say ray BD, and I'm going to use the word bisect, angle ABC. All right, so that is that one. And the next one is adjacent angles. And then adjacent angles are just when they share a side, is what adjacent angles are. So I'm going to draw out two angles. So there's one angle. And now I'm going to go ahead and put a ray in the middle. And also, one thing I didn't say about naming angles, you could name angles with numbers as well. So here I have angle 1 and I have angle 2. So I could call this, so I could say angle 1 and angle 2 are adjacent angles. All right, so the next one is a linear pair. So like I said, I can use letters. Okay, if there's letters on there, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, whatever, go on and on and on to Z, I'm going to use those to name it. If there's numbers on there, I'm going to use numbers to name it. All right, a linear pair. So from algebra, you know linear means a line. So, and it's a straight line. So here is a straight line, and I know a straight line is 180 degrees. So a linear pair is just a pair of adjacent angles. So here I have a pair of adjacent angles. So where any two lines come together, it creates a point. So I know there's a point there. So I'm just going to name this RST. And I'm going to just call this one over here V. So I'm going to say, I know that this angle right here, and this angle over here, they're not the same measure, but what I know about them is they're a linear pair and they equal 180 degrees. So to write out the measure of an angle, I'm going to use the letter M in front of the angle sign. So the measure of angle RST, it plus the measure of angle TSV equals 180 degrees. So this is a linear pair. You also may remember that complementary angles and supplementary angles, we're going to get into that in just a moment. So a linear pair is also a supplementary angle. So the next one we're going to look at is a vertical angle. So I know when I have two vertical angles or two lines. So here I have two lines. And now I'm just going to name, and they're two lines, they intersect at one point. All right, and they're two straight lines. So what I know about this, I'm just going to name these 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what I know about these is that opposite angles are congruent. So I know angle 1 is congruent to angle 3. They're opposite angles. And I know that angle 2 and angle 4 are congruent. So angle 2 is congruent to angle 4. So do you see the linear pair as well in there? So I know I have some linear pairs. I'm just going to write one of them out. So I know the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 is equal to 180 degrees. So this would be a linear pair looking at that. So this one's a linear pair. This here is a vertical angle. Okay, so the last one, complementary angles. Complementary angles are two angles that add, the sum of two angles add up to 90 degrees. So here I'm just going to draw my angles. So I have angle 1 and angle 2. So these are complementary angles. So I'm going to say the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2. So because I'm talking about the measure of them now, I'm not talking just about congruency. So I'm using that equal sign, is equal to 90 degrees. So supplementary angles are two angles that add up to 180 degrees. Copy and paste problem there. So let's draw those out. So again, it's the same thing. It's a linear pair. That's all it is. It's a linear pair. 1, 2. So I'm just going to write it out as an equation, okay, because I'm using the equal sign. The measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 equals 180 degrees. All right, let's see what's after this. All right, so that's it for that vocab. So make sure that you get all those notes down either in your notebook or you can use Cami to upload those up to Google Classroom.